Good morning and welcome to our directionH Doctor and Doctor call. This morning we have a very special topic because so many people have been asking about what they can do. What's that special supplement? What's that special activity? What's that special thing? The magic bullet, the magic pill that's going to keep them healthy and longevity with vitality. Well, Dr. Wilson, I know we talked about this before, and there's several things that you had talked about in regards to the newest studies coming out on what people need to do to maintain health and maintain vitality. So if you could go ahead and kind of recap one of our conversations, and then I have some follow-up on that I wanted to discuss. I wanted to have you give the background and the overview first. So, Dr. Wilson?
Thank you, Dr. Mars. I appreciate that. So the idea of the magic bullet has been around a long time. I've been studying health for 55 years now of what works. And I would say, without a doubt, without a hesitation, that there is magic in health. There is absolutely magic. And what is magic? Magic can be defined as the power to apparently influence the course of events using mysterious forces. So Dr. Myers and I have seen health improve in thousands upon thousands of people. And what do we know? What do we know? That there is magic, and the magic is you. So for the first 30 years of practice, I tried to figure out what was wrong. First 30 years of study, what's wrong? What can we do to fix what's wrong? I've studied lab values. I've done lab studies with blood. I've done lab blood values with hormones. I've done saliva testing. I've studied x-rays, MRIs. I've done hair analysis. I've studied homeopathy, Ayurvedic medicine. I've studied acupuncture. I've studied iridology, plasma photography, Carillion photography, auric readings. I've worked with gifted healers, dowsing, biofeedback, muscle testing, electrodiagnosis units of all kinds. Done some work with Rife machines. I've worked with psychic surgeries. I've studied with yoga masters, martial arts masters, many, many, many herbalists and nutritionalists, all trying to find out what's wrong. And you know what they do when they have these disciplines and studies? The natural thing to do is define it inside of what you know, inside of your study, inside of your basis of foundation, your philosophy. The people I've worked with have all been sincere people, all dedicated to trying to help people have a better day, and they have succeeded in helping many, many people have improved lives. That's without a doubt. But they all define it differently. They all define what's wrong in a different format and then have a solution to that different format. They have an answer, and they're all spent their lives dedicated to pursuing those understandings. But let's talk about the mystery of function. Let's talk about the mysteries. We are individuals comprised of 100 trillion other individuals, unique, separate, defined individuals we call cells. We have 200,000 times the number of cells as there are people on the planet. We have 85 billion nerve cells in our brain, 85 billion. We produce 250 million new red blood cells every hour. We have 100,000 unique proteins that our body produces, most of them only lasting up to 48 hours. And these proteins are a minimum of a few hundred to sometimes many thousands of amino acids long in their construction, all produced by our body. There are 4,500 and counting different neurotransmitters or words that our brain produces. There are 403 different classifications of immune cells. There's 100 variations of growth hormone. There are 12 variations of serotonin. If you take the DNA out of a microscopic cell and grab each end of that DNA with microscopic tweezers and pull it apart, it will be microscopic in size, but it will be 6 feet long. And it all intertwines itself and crunches itself down inside of a microscopic nucleus. And on and on and on. And all of these different parts are constantly interactive with your every thought, your every move, your every breath, and with everything around you on a constant basis. Constantly interactive. When you step back and you take a look at the complexity of what we're working with, it's easy to see that it would be very difficult to come up with the solution, the answer, the one thing that you need to do to make all of that work better. Now, given that everything we do that's good and healthy and positive improves function, we sometimes get lulled into thinking that if I just do one thing or I do another thing, then it'll create benefit, and it will. But what have we seen? We have seen that the comprehension, our bodies are very complex. Our systems are very complex, but that is not the complexity that we need to focus on. The magic is that it runs all together all the time. Every time you take a step, that's 216 muscles. You probably couldn't name 30 or 40 of them when you move. You see, it's all done for us. It's all part of the magic, the mystery behind how we function. But here's an interesting part. This body knows what to do. It knows what it needs to do. It knows how to act. It never forgets. Dr. Myers and I have seen thousands of patients improved from doing small things and large things. But here's the part of it that's really sometimes baffling. All this intelligence that runs, that organizes all of these functions and activities, all of this depends upon us. The intelligence and the magic depends upon us to do our part. And what is our part? You see, this is the universal question that has been asked for all of recorded history. What must we do to lead happy, healthy, creative, pain-free lives? How do we enjoy life? I've asked this question for 55 years. What must we do? For the first 30 years, it was trying to find out what's wrong. How do we fix what's wrong? And about 25 years ago, all of a sudden, the light went off, an epiphany happened, and I said, what's wrong can be very complex, could be beyond human understanding. So what can we do? What can we do? What are our options? And that's where the idea of the design started to come forward. The idea of the design. The design is how everything works in nature. That's the design. So if everything works in nature according to a design, we work also according to a design. And that's what the foundational basis of directionH is, the design. Everything functions according to the design. The design defines how our system works. And it also defines what we must do to participate with our health. You know, as you look around, there is no arguing about the design. There's no debate if there's a design. The design just is. Some would say it's common sense. Some would say it's obvious. I once heard someone tell me an interesting definition of wisdom. It says wisdom has a keen interest in the obvious. It's the science of the obvious. Why is it the science of the obvious? Because it's here for us. It's here to teach us. It's here for what we must do. So our responsibility to have these kind of lives, these healthy lives, is to cooperate with the design. And we all have a choice to cooperate with this design or not. Now, I know Dr. Myers agrees with me because we've been on this trail of the design, defined differently at different times, but we've been on this trail of design for about 30 years together now. Dr. Myers, do you have anything that you'd like to add?
You know, Dr. Wilson, it's interesting. You know, we talk about where we've been and where we've come from, and our approaches in the beginning, like you're saying, looking at what's wrong and how to fix that. But then when it comes down to overall health and vitality and longevity, all the research shows that it's not just one thing you do. It's a combination of all the different factors in your life, from what you put in your mouth, what you put in your lungs, what you put in your brain, the activities you do, all the different things we do add up. And so people can do one thing, and it will change and improve their overall well-being or overall health. But to really work on allowing the body to function within the design over a lifetime, it's really a combination of everything we do. So like you're saying, at directionH, what really sets us apart is our focus on working with people to change their lifestyle into a lifestyle that allows them to live within the design of their body, the design of their life, the activities that they're doing that they want to do and that they feel happy and joyous to do. And so when we're working with someone, it's not so much we say, okay, take this and you're going to feel better. It's more like, what can we do to work with you to become better, not only within the short sense of feeling better, but also from the standpoint in the sense of 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you're still going to be doing those activities that you want to do. You're still going to be happy and feeling good about who you are and what you're doing. So when people ask me now, especially in my practice, you know, now that we're working with a lot of people in directionH and a lot of the members to help them change their lifestyle, the approach is to work with them in regards to what they're doing now that's going to affect them in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road. And in doing it, by doing that kind of a more broad approach in regards to their lifestyle, as opposed to just take this and you'll change how you feel, but how do we actually approach it to change your lifestyle to allow you to be who you want to be in the future? And one of the things we noticed, because now we've been working together long enough with this, that we're starting to see that those people, for example, that are consistently taking the 24 brain product, the AM and the PM, and that are doing activities around what they want to do, even if they're not doing all the other things they could be doing, they seem to be not experiencing symptoms like they used to in the past. Now, what do I mean by that? I have members and patients who have not had a cold or missed a day of work in 2 years now, where before they'd be taking a week off 3 to 4 times a year because of feeling sick. I have patients that are now out doing physical activities that before would wipe them out, but they're able to do now. And they tell me, you know, Dr. Myers, it's not so much that when I take the 24 brain, I feel this or I feel that. It's just that overall, my sense of well-being is better. Overall, I can do the things that I want to do, and I'm seeing that over and over again, that it's a process we go through. And each day, each week, each month is a learning experience and a growth experience in regards to the activities we can do, the activities we want to do, and also in working through changing our lifestyles to allow us to do what we want in the future.
Well said. Well said, Dr. Mars. Thank you very much. Yeah, so what we've seen is that those that engage in the process begin to show the benefits. They begin to show the changes that we'd like to have, that we all want to have. We all want to be happy and healthy. We all want to see these things come about for ourselves and our family and friends. And what we have seen is that it happens. It does happen that people do improve. They do get better. They do function at an improved rate because that's how it works. That's the design. We found that the problem now, getting the system to function and supporting the system on how to keep it making progress and making improvement, we've seen that. We've experienced that. That is now a known entity. In other words, we know that when people engage in the process of following the design, they will start to experience benefit. They will start to experience improvement. It's the way it's made. The challenge is, this is the key. The challenge is, are they willing to do it? Is a person willing to do what's in their best interest? That's always the key. The key is not so much anymore is, will it work? The key, and the question always comes back in regard to that, will it work for me? That's what people always want to know. Will it work for me? Well, what we've seen is that when people engage in the process, things begin to change. Their systems begin to change. They begin, let me just say that we have seen people gain dramatic improvements. But the decision is always in their hands, whether they're going to continue to do it or not. That's the key. The key is making the choice.
Well, part of the process, Dr. Wilson, is that by feeding the body according to the design as far as what it needs to function for daytime metabolism and nighttime regeneration metabolism, that's what really makes the 24 brain stand out, because it allows people to have that mental focus and mental direction to do what they need to do. It's almost like a positive feedback loop in regards to activity level, functional level. It feeds their body's pathways to allow them to make those decisions that they want to make, but in a past they haven't been able to because they did not have the resources, metabolically, so to speak, to be able to do that. And like you're saying, it's an engagement process. It takes time. We don't go from perfect health to perfect death overnight. And we don't go from perfect disease to perfect health overnight. And it's never about being perfect in any direction. It's always about in regards to how can you function the best you can function today with what you have. And so we see that by giving the nutrients and the vitality the body needs from the inside, it helps us on that process and that pathway to make the change in our lifestyle that allows us to function in a better environment.
That's exactly right. We all need tools to work with. Carpenter needs tools, a plumber needs tools, a teacher needs tools, a mechanic needs tools. Everybody needs tools to work with. Our products are the tools that your body can use to work with. The Direction Lean, the 24 Brain, the Brain Piece, the EAs, the proteins. These are all tools for the body to function. 24 Brain, the foundational centerpiece of what we do. The ongoing support and hierarchical needs based upon gender, based upon rhythms and timings. It's a complex formula based upon the complexity of our system. Not one pathway, not one function, all functions. Not one system, all systems. Not one cell, all cells, simultaneously in their levels of need. What's very exciting for us at this stage, Dr. Myers and I, is that this has been our life's ambition to bring about the most change that we can. And that's what we're doing now. We're bringing about the most change that we've seen to date in any other format.